Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the new 1910 Britain campaign in 1.03, which in some ways is just a continuation of the Germany campaign that kind of abruptly ended when the government made peace, even though I told them not to. So my fleet designs are roughly similar to what I had in the last Germany run. Some differences, which I went through in the last episode, kind of went through a review of all the designs and so forth. I'm kind of experimenting with just, logic would say it's bad, but I'm experimenting this time with what happens if you go with some ships that have really bad engine efficiency in order to have better smoke interference or lack thereof. The armored cruiser in particular has got below 50% engine efficiency, but it's got pretty good smoke interference. And then the light cruiser is fairly low, I think 60% engine efficiency. And it might become very clear very quickly. Oh, right, that's why that's bad. Anyway, I did that. But enough about that. I spoke for an hour in the last episode about why I did my fleet composition the way I did, and kind of particulars on all the designs. Enough of that. So let's get rolling here and head on into February 1910. Well, that's off to a good start. We lost one transport, but Germany lost 3. I'm digging that. Got one battle up here off the coast of Scotland, fairly close to, I guess Aberdeen would be the closest sizable town along that coast. Yeah, and it's just a battlecruiser matchup. That's a good way to start. See how this 12-inch gun-armed pocket battleship does. Interestingly, our battlecruiser is lower tonnage than the German one. And I built it to the max tonnage. I didn't pare it down. This is the biggest tonnage I had available with the Battlecruiser 1 hull, and that was all. That was it. And what's interesting is that Britain normally starts with a little bit higher shipyard capacity and typically has got at least available to them larger tonnage ships in each class, but not in this case. So that's slightly unusual anyway. All right, Invincible versus our villain is Arminius. Just look at that profile. The Autogen did something similar. Look how far aft her main and secondary towers are. That's interesting. Maybe Autogen watched my last campaign or something. All right. Enemy smoke spotted to the east. Which way does the AI want to go? He wants to go that way. All right, AI. We'll go your way. Turn off my torpedoes. I did put torpedoes on every design. I do not intend to regularly use torpedoes on the battlecruiser and maybe to a lesser extent the armored cruiser. I do expect torpedoes to be regularly used by the light cruiser and destroyer, of course. But the main reason I put them on the battlecruiser in particular was just to have that threat, just to have that envelope around my ship where I have a torpedo capability. And that was kind of one of the big things I was investigating in the 1890 campaign, a couple campaigns back. I think that influences the AI behavior. Of course, they've now fiddled with that behavior some more in 1.03, So even as recently as that campaign, that may already be obsolete. Does that mean I'm going to go through another 1890 campaign with that kind of gun accuracy to further test it? Yeah, maybe not. It worked, you know. I kind of relied on gunnery in 1890, not torps, big ships. It worked. Man, the battles were pretty long, though. This thing could be running away from me. I'm only going 24 knots. It may be faster. And it may not like the odds. It's hard to tell from that little bitty silhouette or from the pre-battle silhouette, but it didn't look like particularly large turrets. This may be like a 10 or 11 inch gun battlecruiser. And all of a sudden, no. Sometimes that arrow just kind of flakes out. That wasn't the AI saying, no, we should run away. Sometimes it just does weird stuff. I have a sneaky feeling we're not going to spot this thing. I kind of feel like if we wanted to fight, we would have spotted it by now because it would have been closing. This smells a lot like it's running away. Okay, I've edited out quite a bit here. You can see here in the messages, we're now at the end of April, and there have been not one but 3 of these battlecruiser versus battlecruiser encounters, and they've all gone the same way. No ships spotted. Nothing happened. So that tells me 2 things. A, the British battlecruiser is faster. And B, it must be significantly less well armed. And or maybe doesn't have torpedoes of its own. Either way, even with the recent AI tweaks over not just 1.03 but also before that, the enemy AI still perceives itself at a disadvantage, and it just turns immediately and runs before ships are even spotted. So I've edited that out, and I'm going to press on here, and hopefully we get some other type of battle. Germany lost 4 transports this time. During the edited part, we had lost a transport or 2. Overall, I think it's running basically even. Oh, please let this not be battlecruiser versus battlecruiser. So over here in the Baltic, and it's actually at the edge of the map in the Baltic, just north of Palau. Shit. Okay, you know what? Not going to. It's going to go the same way as the other one. So I'm going to auto resolve this. It is unlikely that either ship will be sunk, but they'll be sent to repairs. So maybe if Arminius is in repairs for a few turns, the battle generator won't have her to pick. They've only got the one battlecruiser. Okay, well, at least we didn't take damage. Arminius is only going to be out for like a month or 2. June. And we lost a transport. I talked at length during the previous episode about why I was doing my overall fleet configuration the way I did. I do not think we have a problem with power projection. Matter of fact, we're probably a little bit higher. However, we are lower in light cruisers and destroyers. So that may mean that, power projection and blockade completely aside, that might be giving Germany a little bit of an advantage in the actual transport losses, which occur, outside of battle, the monthly messages. Do I know that for sure? I don't. I just kind of suspect that light cruisers and maybe destroyers, have a disproportionate effect on those. I've done campaigns in the past where I added a few light cruisers with max range, and then all of a sudden the enemy's transport losses just started ratcheting up pretty significantly. And that is the only anecdotal, inferential hunch information upon which I base that comment. Anyway, because of that, I went ahead and started building several more light cruisers. 6 of them. And it would not let me build in Sunderland because it was over capacity. As far as I can tell, it's not having an effect. You can be over capacity, but it won't let ships go back there after battle, and you cannot build additional ships in an overcapacity port. So I have built these in Ravus instead, and I'll just fill that one up. And other than just making sure stuff is in the North Sea, I'm not going to try real hard to keep everything in Sunderland itself. July. There we go. Okay, we got 2 of our battle cruisers and an armored cruiser defending 4 transports right off Sunderland against, well, mainly a bunch of destroyers with a little bit of cruiser support. Okay. Let's see how this design does with all those aft-facing 5-inch secondaries. At least I think we'll see the enemy this time. Alright, stop that scout nonsense. That's just going to wind up doing silly things. You can keep on that course for now, though. Drake. Which way is the smoke? To the east. That's not what I meant. Which way does it want to go? Okay. It's fine. Come off AI. Turn our torps off. And given we're turning that way, just make things easier for now. Just have the cruiser follow the BCs, I think. Alright, off we go. Oh, this guy's pretty close. It's probably a destroyer. Quick turn. Slow this down. There's probably torpedoes in the water already. Hopefully at transports, not at Agincourt. Or Agincourt, however that's pronounced. A British pronunciation of a French name could be anything. Yeah, let's have everything, including 12 inchers, on this lead destroyer. I think I like that idea. Take that little bugger out. Where's the cruiser? Yep, cruiser shooting at him. Designate it to make sure he doesn't switch fire. So these two divisions, these are all going to wind up being destroyers when identified. That is indeed an armored cruiser, and this will be their light cruiser. So we'll get to see several of their designs here. Okay, those torpedoes fired at a transport. There goes V14, good. V4, you're next. If I can actually click you. Everybody. V4. Look at, I think, yeah, they've burned torpedoes on transports. That's a good thing. Now these DDs probably haven't. V10 is looking for a good shot on probably either Hercules or the, matter of fact, where's the armored cruiser? Don't follow right up in there. Kind of have you like this. All right, Hercules, whose accuracy is not great because I'm in this turn. There, take that. Okay, V4 done. Time to wreck V10. Just pause for a moment to look over the British destroyer design. Okay. We're looking at just about 1,100 tons, 28.1 knots, which is significantly slower than ours. I think my destroyer was 35. Well, the AI tends to go all or nothing here too. A lot of times they do zero armor destroyers. A lot of times they do max armor destroyers all the way around. So they went max armor this time around. Standard bulkheads. So maybe they'll be a little bit easier to sink than AI destroyers typically are. And these two did sink pretty fast. Of course, they took 12 inch. I mean, 1.5 armor isn't going to do much for that. One, two, three, four 4-inch guns. And looks like 3 triple torpedo launchers, or 3 double torpedo launchers. I gotta be honest, I don't really see how they managed the weight. Forget about the weight offset balancing, just the weight of 3 torpedo launchers and still have the weight for 4 4-inch guns. Well, that's probably why they're 28 knots instead of above 30. The speed in the propulsion plant is probably how how the auto-generator got the tonnage for all that. If that's true, then these ships may have a fairly bad pitch and roll. But that primarily affects gun accuracy. I don't think it affects torpedo accuracy or firing. So as far as their major threat to our warships, that's kind of an okay trade-off for the AI, for the autogen. Terrible pitch and roll probably isn't as bad a debilitating effect for a destroyer that's going to be firing torpedoes a lot, which is most of them. Anyway, 4-kilometer range, so they're probably the fast propulsion type. Yes, they are. And they also saved a little bit of weight by going 18-inch. Price 19. Increased gunnery ammo. Interesting. I used increased ammo a lot. Not on destroyers. I like it for main battery guns on bigger ships. But the smaller guns, they typically have enough ammo. I never really feel the need for it. What else jumps out at me here? Coal fuel. Aux 2 shaft. Semi-balanced rudder, though. The slower, cheaper steering gear. Picric acid, so it may be a little bit prone to flash fire, as I learned to my detriment in the last campaign. Alright, enough of that. Okay, so Hercules. This thing's only 1.9 kilometers away. It just turned. It's got fast torpedoes. Haven't spotted them yet, but I'm just gonna pop on torpedo avoidance for this division right now. It just smells like there's gonna be torpedoes running right down this axis at Herc pretty soon. Oh, we've got the armored cruiser identified too. As long as I'm paused, I'm gonna look at her too. It's at the Deutschland. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Deutsch. Okay, so this is a smaller armored cruiser than ours at 10.7K. 28.8 knots, which is fairly speedy for an armored cruiser around this time. Ours is 24. It's okay-ish on armor. It's actually pretty decent, probably. And we have the 3 funnels. They're not all the same size, but this looks like the biggest one here. And maybe, knowing what I know now, and I've only just really started recently paying more attention to it, I bet that's a buttload of smoke interference on this guy. That's probably another contributing factor to why, in general, AI gun accuracy is usually so much worse than the players. So he's sporting 7-inch main armament, 2 doubles. It's fairly, which is kind of, it's really about all you can do on this hull. You know, 1 main forward and 1 main aft. There's just nowhere to put another one on this German armored cruiser hull. He's gone with quite a few 5-inch secondaries. Actually, they're casemate guns, I think. And then some 4-inch casemates. The fact that quite a few of these are 5-inch, vice 4-inch, suggests to me that the roll on this ship is pretty heavy. So there's some 4-inch casemate and some 4-inch secondary. All singles, it appears. He decides to pile on a little bit more port and starboard weight with some 3-inch double turrets. Port and starboard. Wow, and a lot of 2-inch turrets, which individually are pretty light. You know, only 3.6 tons apiece. But that's adding more to roll. And then he's got kind of the standard port and starboard underwater torpedo tubes. No big surprise, pretty standard. Fast. Doesn't say that there, but I know that's true from the 4.0 kilometer range. Yep, fast. Standard ammo, both guns and torps. Okay. I'm fairly confident that in just a stand-up 1v1 gunnery exchange that our cruiser will have no problem with this guy as long as it fights. Because it is almost 5 knots faster. In a 1v1 armored cruiser duel battle, it might, actually probably will, just see the same thing that we've been seeing with the battlecruisers. It'll just turn and run. Is my guess. You know, I don't know that, but probably. But because it has torpedoes, maybe it won't. I don't know. Okay, enough of that. Back to the battle. Looks like their torpedoes got one of our merchants already. Speaking of armored cruisers versus armored cruisers, I'm just going to have Drake start popping off at Deutschland here. Shift fire. This guy is actually ready to fire. V10 is at least currently reloading. See if we can't neutralize his threat before he shoots. So thus far, I think all the torpedoes have gone after transports. And until I see conclusive proof that transports sunk in battle actually affect economy, then I don't give a crap. These can all sink. I don't care one little bit. Even the VP loss is pretty minor. All four of these transports together, their VP won't be remotely close to the value of one of the destroyers. Yep, burning more torpedoes on transports. I am just fine with that. I know I'm supposed to be protecting them. So it's kind of gameplay versus roleplay there. Roleplay wise, yeah, I'm not doing a good job protecting my transports. So the destroyers are the immediate threat from the destroyers is kind of. Let's at least damage that guy. Cut his speed down. Why is Drake not turning? For that matter, even for X1 speed, he looks to be going pretty slow. Of course, he is actually slower than Deutschland. Oh, he might be eating a torpedo here soon himself. All right, Battlecruisers. Let's all start ganging up on Deutschland here. Sure smells an awful lot like about to get a pretty good torpedo solution. I'm just going to start turning Drake manually rudder now. Transport. Whatever. I mean, it's not like I can maneuver them, even try to get them to avoid. If all the transports sink and I'm defending, keep turning. That's why I put you on a turn. Hopefully you're gonna, hopefully it'll sneak past. I think it'll be okay. Right, just steady up. Fine. I've never lost all transports in a convoy battle before, though. Well, shit, I wasn't even watching the Battlecruisers. Okay, Agincourt is not in danger. Hercules might be, but I've got torpedo avoidance on. Screw it, I'm just going to let it ride. I may regret that decision, but do your thing, Herc. Herc AI Captain. Let's get Drake's forward battery to bear. Maybe it is already anyway. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, Deutschland has taken significant propulsion damage now. She's flooding quite a bit. Oh, I didn't look at the bulkheads. Few bulkheads. Yeah, she's going to flood pretty fast. She just fired another torpedo at somebody, probably Drake. still firing at Drake, so she seems to still be targeting Drake. Oh, there's a light cruiser. Need to keep an eye on him. Just go ahead and make a course correction now. There goes Deutschland. Light cruiser time. There you go. They were already planning to fire on her anyway, as was Drake. Designated anyway, so they don't. So the AI doesn't shift targets. I feel like there's going to be a torpedo showing up somewhere in this area pretty soon. Alright, going to pause out and let's look at the British light cruiser. What do we got here? Excuse me, the German light cruiser. Okay. 6160 tons. Max bulkheads. Standard crew. Wow. That is a lot of 5-inch, yo. That's a lot of 5-inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 25-inch mounts. And I'm well aware from both this campaign and the last campaign, using this exact hull, that I know for a fact that is an excessive amount of roll. Like probably between 25 and 30 roll alone. Yeah, this number here, 7.4% accuracy at 1,000 meters, 1.9% at 2,500, 0.5 at, yeah. Unless on a perfectly flat sea, it's not going to achieve anywhere remotely like those numbers. Now you can see it right there. What's our range? It's pretty close. Where's mine? .8 kilometers. It's getting 1.2 with coincidence rangefinder 2, and then it's going to have some accuracy bonus from its towers probably. It's our sea conditions. Moderate waves, minus 10%. Well, okay, maybe its accuracy isn't all that terrible. Maybe it's about kind of what one would expect at a little under 4,000 meters. Well, if that's the case, then 25-inch guns is actually pretty good armament. How many 3? There's not much room for too many 3-inch. Yeah, only 4. In those little casemate spots. 5-inch guns won't fit in these 4 casemate spots. I'm not sure I ever even noticed those 2 casemate spots way forward for 2-inchers. And then the port and starboard torps. Standard propulsion, 6.2 kilometer range. So they won't be as fast, even though they reach out farther. Reduced ammo torps. Or torp ammo. Yeah. Notice this. It probably hasn't fired yet. Only carrying 2. It's basically a one-shot ship. Once those tubes fire, that's it. She's out of Schlitz. Okay. And I think that was standard gun ammo, yeah. So this is basically a very gun-focused cruiser, especially by AI standards. Interesting. Oh, what was the speed? 20 knots. Pretty slow for a light cruiser in any era. No, so the bigger ships may be able to get away from us, but the light cruisers won't. It kind of smells like we're going to be feasting on these things quite a bit during this campaign. And kind of an average a little over 3 inches of armor all around. Okay. Yeah, slow to cruise. I know there's one person who's already gonna fuss at me because I waited too long to slow to cruise speed. Yeah. Whatever. There, Drake's cruising too. Just joking, man. Boom. Niobe is rethinking some life choices now. I don't think I need torpedo avoidance on the battlecruisers. At one point I thought Hercules was just a prime target, and she was, but those destroyers were throwing fish at the transports instead. Hey, they're good for, they're good for decoys, I guess, torpedo decoys. The question is, and I was saying this before I got off on something else, and I interrupted my own thought, but I don't think I've ever been in a convoy battle where I lost all of my own transports. Well, so I was thinking maybe that'll end the battle. It doesn't in the other direction, but when defending, I thought maybe it would, not having seen that before. Apparently it does not. We can still kill warships after all my transports are done. Now, the game might very well count this as a defeat because of the loss of transports. And that may even... Oh, shit. There, he fired his one torpedo out of that tube. Where's... Here. Just don't want to mess with it. It's probably way more turn than I need, but... Right. Niobe done. I think we just got a few destroyers left, and oh no, they're pretty close. Didn't see them, but saw their smoke. I don't think I need... There's nothing left to shoot at, so I didn't really need to designate the target, but... Let Drake kind of run here and be the designated torpedo target. Cheapest per ton ship I have, right? therefore probably the most expendable, at least from one perspective. I don't think we... No, we did. We did sink the other two destroyers, so they didn't just limp away. They're done. Otherwise, there would be a gray silhouette up here for an unspotted ship. I'm still reloading. He's probably going to fire torpedoes now. And he did. Quick turn. Quick turn. Slow speed a little bit. See if that tightens your turning circle a little bit. Ooh, I don't know. Mighty one. Is this a danger to the bat? Yes, it is. Turn the Battlecruisers again. Let's get torp avoidance back on for Hercules. Well, Agincourt's safe. Just keep going straight. Dragging speed back up to cruise. Shit, no. Max, your best chance is to go forward. That's what I get for going X3 there. Alright, Drake's fine. Partially through luck. Agincourt's fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hercules is fine. Damn it. Stop. Should have slowed down. Should not have left it at X3. Can you turn out of that? I don't think so. Alright, so I think Drake is going to get hit, so I'm just going to maneuver her to hopefully only take one. And I'm going to slow the speed back down. Now, I had just sped her back up, and even with that engine efficiency, she'd already gotten back up to almost 22 knots over a relatively short period of time. So I'm not really feeling the, oh my god, I should not have let that engine efficiency go so low. I'll slow her back down, tighten her turning circle, and I don't think she's going to avoid, but maybe I can just take one hit back aft, which will probably mess up her rudder. But at this stage of the battle, I don't think that's a big deal. Well, she might get in that gap. Here, just straighten up a little bit. No, she won't. And I think these two are so close together, she's going to take both of them. Keep turning. Keep turning. Ooh, she might luck out here. Maybe. Just a maybe. Not certain. Straighten up. Don't swing your stern into it. Suck on that, Germans. The elusive Drake. Okay, there's still an unspotted destroyer somewhere around here. If it's disengaging, we won't find her. But she may not be disengaging. I don't need torpedo avoidance. Catch back up, Hercules. Okay. A commenter an episode or two ago kind of raised this question about in one of the battles in the last campaign, I had this similar situation. Two battlecruisers in a division together, and I had slowed them to cruise speed, but one of the second ship didn't slow all the way down. And so, trying to maintain station, it was fishtailing back and forth because it didn't match the speed of the lead ship. And normally, when you do that, the whole division just slows down to that speed. But this ship didn't do that. It stayed at a higher speed, and that's because I had used torpedo avoidance. Or I think that occurred because I used torpedo avoidance, because when you put it in that mode, apparently it goes all the way up to max speed. Which, oh, by the way, isn't always necessarily the best thing to do, because as you increase speed, you also increase your tactical diameter, which is a fancy word for you don't turn as tight. Your rate of turn is the same either way, whether you're going slow or going fast. You know, the bow is going to change, is going to keep moving left or right at the same number of degrees per second. But the radius of the turn will differ with your speed. So you'll turn tighter at slower speeds. At least that's the way it normally works in the real world. I think it works the same here too, at least in most cases. But we see the same thing here. Now, I ordered this group to cruise speed while not in torpedo avoidance. But when I popped torpedo avoidance back on, Hercules sped up. And so the question is, right now, she has stayed faster. Is that because of the lingering effect of torpedo avoidance? Or is that just because she's looking to catch up? All right, we're not going to find this destroyer, but I'm kind of interested. I'm going to put it on times 10 here. I kind of want to see what Hercules does when she gets back in her station. Will she slow down? Or will she start fishtailing back and forth? Now, I could slow Agincourt down more to get her to catch up faster. But I don't want to do that because I might throw this little experiment off. Was that smoke to the southeast? It's this way. I think I can turn without maybe by doing this we'll wind up shooting that destroyer after all. Kind of doubt it. Oh, you can speed back up. And with this engine efficiency, let's see how fast she speeds back up, Drake, at 47%. That's pretty, well, I mean, I am going times 10. Okay, well, yeah, that's probably slower than if she had high efficiency, but she is coming back up to speed. Is it great? No. Is it insignificant? Negligible? Not really. But is it livable? Like, is that worthwhile to consider a trade off versus smoke? Some people may think it isn't. I think it's worth considering. All right, back up to timestamp. Hercules showing no sign of slowing down. She's still just trying to catch back up. I think right around here would be her normal station. We're in normal spacing for this division. Oh, she is slowing down. Sort of. She's fishtailing a little bit, but her speed is coming down while she decelerates. Well, the bigger question is, why is it that I set 19 knots as the ordered bell, but Agincourt, the division leader, is going above 22? What's up with that? And why is Hercules still zipping around back and forth, despite the fact that she's come back up in speed? You know what? I think that the no, that doesn't make sense. I was thinking maybe it was because they were coming out of the turn. Okay, well, they're not in torpedo avoidance now. I'm just going to pop A on. I'm going to pop AI on and off again, just to clear any residual AI influence that Hercules may have on her. Stop that. And then I'm going to change speed again. Let's go down to 16. Now let's see what Hercules does. Well, she is slowing down, but Agincourt popped back up above 18 and is now slowing down. That may have been collision avoidance behavior just because Hercules was so close behind her. And now they're both going about the same speed. To the point where Hercules doesn't really need to be zigzagging like that. This is this is not just trivial because if this kind of behavior is to be expected, even when you're trying to correct for it, after using torpedo avoidance, well, I mean, clearly Hercules' gun accuracy is going to be just thrown into the toilet, making all these snaky turns. So trying to prevent this is finding a way to prevent this is pretty important, I think. What happens if I detach Hercules and then put her back in formation? Will that fix things? Looks like yes. So that may be the lesson learned, that once you use torpedo avoidance, maybe you've got to detach those ships back out and then pop them back in to prevent them from doing this fishtail thing, even after you take them out from that mode and they rejoin the formation. Huh. All right then. Well, yeah, we're not going to find that destroyer. Okay, so pretty good battle. And despite losing all of our transports, the game did properly adjudicate that as a victory, as it should. Almost 3,000 victory points versus 241. The 4 transports are gone. Our ships came through it just fine. I don't think really took any damage to speak of. Not even Drake. Although she came close. That was a pretty tight little squeeze in that torpedo spread. And the enemy force pretty much wiped out. 1 destroyer got away. And I think this one limped away damaged early and just never came back. I think. All right, well, that turned into a fairly long episode, even after I got to go back and edit out all of those non-encounters of battlecruisers. I hope we don't have too many of those. And we'll see what happens in August next time around. Thank you very much for watching.